Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by Always More Sims here on YouTube. Today we're doing a speed build. So this is actually the first part of a two-part speed build. It is called the Emerald European because, well, everything is always called farmhouse, cottage, cabin, and when I was looking for inspiration for the house, I was looking through European-styled homes. I do not think this house really looks like a European-styled home, but I wanted something different, so we're calling it the Emerald European. It's also called the Emerald European, despite not being green, simply because it has an emerald green front door. That is my only reason. So, yeah. This is actually the second time I built this house. I was paranoid, like, the entire time I built it. The first time I built it, I literally was building for about an hour and a half, got all the way through with pretty much everything on the outside. I had just started landscaping, and then my game crashed. And I had just been talking about literally the day before how my game rarely crashes. But it did, and I lost the entire house. So at one point, I cut out, and I don't think it's super noticeable, but I cut out and save the game where I have the shell of the house, and I might have the roof as well. The first time I built this house, I had such an easy time with the roof. Like, the roof just came together perfectly. This time, something was off. There was just something off about the house, and then the roofing was off, and yeah. There are, like, some areas kind of in, like, the back right corner, if you're looking at the house from behind, and I guess technically be on the left. It's kind of weird, and I was trying to fix it, and then I was just kind of getting frustrated, and I was just kind of like, you know what, no one ever sees the back, when looking at the front of the house, the back right corner of the house, nobody ever sees that part, we're just going to go with it. So this house is going to be the house that we move into for, later on in my Disney Lexi challenge for Princess and the Frog. Because I have decided we're having 4 kids. I miss having kids. I like having big families in the game. And this past generation, like Frozen, of only having 1 kid, as I have stated actually numerous times now, I was bored out of my mind with having only 1 child. It was so boring. I had so much fun in the Little Mermaid generation because there were 7 kids. And this just wasn't, this past, like Frozen, like, after we settled down, just wasn't it. I wasn't feeling it. So I was given no, like, instructions on how many kids I can have in this generation. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to have 4. And I'm thinking 4 because if you've ever seen the Disney version of Princess and the Frog, there's, like, there's the little group, and there's the group of 4, and there's Tiana and Naveen and Ray and Lewis, and so I'm like, hey, that's what we'll do. But instead of having Naveen, because Naveen is Anna's husband, he's the dad, we're gonna replace Naveen with Lawrence. Oh, I guess my door was not closed all the way. And because I feel like Lawrence was a pretty big part of the movie, and if I wanted to push it, I could probably do 5 kids and have a Charlotte too, because I felt like, while Charlotte wasn't the biggest part of the show or the movie, she still played a pretty decent part because, like, Naveen had to marry her. And if Dr. Facilier had a name, then yeah. But I think we're just gonna stick with the 4. So there's 5 bedrooms in the house, 3.5 bathrooms. There's a nursery, and an office, and a playground in back. I have never done a playground like I did in this house. There's a back porch. There's a little side terrace kind of thing off the master bedroom. I haven't actually built a 2-story house in it feels like forever. All of my houses, like big or small, that I've made recently have all been like single floor and just really wide. So I actually really liked being able to do the 2-story home just because, again, it just kind of switches things up, something different I haven't been doing very much recently. I think will still be a while till we move into this house, because this house I think was nearly like $200,000 furnished, and I think maybe, I don't know, I distinctly remember like a 94 but I don't remember if there was a 1 before it or not. But I think selling the 3 things of Tiberium we have will definitely help. And with Anna already being like level 8 of the cooking career, I think things are looking good. I think we'll be able to move into this house in decent time. And yeah. So I got things I want to talk about, and we'll talk about them in this part and in the next part. But first things first, I am looking to rehome my cat. For those of you who have been watching me for like the last 6 months, will know that I have he turns a year old next month, but I have a kitten that I found with Sarah. Again, if you've been around, you know who Sarah is. That was actually like the last time we hung out, is when I found Mochi, and I found him in her grandparents' or her grandpa's garden, and he had been like shot with like a BB gun. He had all these BB pellets that were like healing under his skin, but he was the sweetest cat. He is still super sweet, but I tried for like the first couple weeks I had him. I was posting about him on Facebook, basically asking everybody that I met, like, hey, do you want a cat? Nobody wanted a cat. Well, there was one person that was interested, but I had just this bad feeling about her, and I trusted my gut feeling and didn't give him to her, and that was a good thing, because was in the news a couple weeks later that she had been like pulled over for driving without a license, but she was also driving under the influence of alcohol, and then she was found with drugs in her car, and she had a cat already, and her cat was taken away, and a bunch of her stuff was repossessed, and like, okay, really glad I didn't give her Mochi, because who knows what his home situation would have become, and like, so I'm glad I didn't give him to her. But then I was like, okay, I think, you know, by then my parents were just kind of like, you know what, as long as you take care of him, you can keep him. It was kind of this unspoken agreement that I could keep him. And so he's been my cat. I've gotten him fixed. I got him, because we don't do claws. We declawed him in the front, and I know that's really controversial about like declawing cats and stuff. But my cats don't go outside. So for us, it's always kind of been like a no-brainer, because they just scratch us up if they have their front claws, whether it's intentional or not. So I got him declawed in the front. He has like ear mites that I've been giving him medication for, and all of this stuff. But if you guys remember, a couple months ago, I had 2 German Shepherd puppies that were rescued from this really awful situation. And they were the first fosters I had since getting Mochi. I had this like huge break in fostering, because my parents were wanting me to hold off, because at the time my dog Lucy was on like a sharp decline in her health, and my parents like, the last thing she needs is dogs in her life. But then like the whole situation with the German Shepherds came up, and my parents like couldn't tell me no, and I couldn't say no, so we started fostering again. But the German Shepherds, they slept in my room at night. I had it's called an X-Pen. It's like a flexible pen that I had set up at the foot of my bed, and I wasn't sure how Mochi was going to react to them, and he didn't like lash out at them. He didn't try and bite them, or like, he didn't have his claws by them. He still didn't try and like bat at them. He just kind of like, he would puff up, and he would kind of like hiss, and then he would just hide under the bed. And so I didn't really think anything of it. I kept him in the bathroom most of the time, because that's where all of his stuff is. And I was like, I'll just, you know, he's not doing anything against the dogs, but he's also not happy with them, so let's just keep them separated. And that's when I noticed that I'd let him out of the bathroom, and I'd left him out, and I didn't think anything of it. I had done it before. Before the fosters, I had no problem leaving him in my room if I wasn't home, like as long as my bedroom door was shut. If I'm home, it used to be that I would leave my bedroom door open, that he could come and go as he pleased. He doesn't like leaving my room, but occasionally he would, and like he would kind of wander the hallway outside of my room and stuff. But he preferred to mostly stay in my room. Well, when I was gone, I would shut the door. And I had been downstairs with the German Shepherds getting their energy out for the night. I did that every night. I sat down in my living room. I went through like 3 or 4 books, just kind of like during that week, letting them run around in the living room and just kind of chilling. And I came back upstairs and I got ready to go to bed, and I felt like Mochi had been out. He'd been the only one in my room. The girls couldn't get on my bed. And I found this huge pee spot. And for those of you who own both dogs and cats, dog and cat pee smell really different. There is a very clear distinction between dog pee and cat pee, and I knew it was cat pee. Oh, I was so mad. But see, I know that it's pointless to reprimand an animal for doing something if they did it hours ago. If they had done it, if you don't, like, if I had caught him in the act of doing it, then I could have, like, been like, no, bad cat, we don't do that, you know, gotten after him. But seeing as how I had been downstairs for like 2.5, 3 hours, he could have done it, you know, an hour before, and by then, like, he wouldn't have understood what he had done wrong. So I was really upset. I had to take all my, you know, stuff off the bed. I slept with towels, like, just tons of towels covering that spot that night for, like, trying to sweep up the pee, but also trying to keep myself from, like, rolling in it. My bed still smells like pee. If, like, I lay a certain way, I still get a whiff of it. And, like, he was in basically timeout for the next, like, 2 weeks. I didn't let him out of my bathroom at all, whether I was in my room or wasn't. And then by then I had the Min Pin puppies. I had Cassie, Callie, and Cam, the ones I had gotten with the parents. And once again, I was kind of like, okay, he's only allowed out of the bathroom if I'm in here. He didn't really think much of the puppies because they were a lot smaller than he was. So he just kind of laid on the floor. He didn't seem to care much. But once again, I had made the mistake of leaving him out because I had literally taken the puppies to go downstairs and put them in their crate or in their pen because it was like feeding time. They were getting really whiny. So I had taken them. I came right back up to my room and he peed on my bed again. And it got to the point like I didn't trust him out of the bathroom at all because I had come home one day after school. I let him out. I didn't have any fosters. I sat on the bed. He got up on the bed. He was literally sitting right next to me, and he pees on the bed again. And from then on out, he has not been allowed on the bed since. I have this paint tarp that I actually had when I had Tessa and Tara, the German Shepherds. That now is on. If he is out of the bathroom, that is on my bed. He does not like the sound it makes. And I was at the end of my rope. I was so over it. I was constantly considering, do I need to find him a new home? Do I need to get him, do I need to surrender him to the shelter? Do I need to post something about him on Facebook again? But I wanted to try one last time. I was like, okay, he has one more chance. Well, I'd once again come home from school, and at the time his water bowl was on the floor. I used to have his water bowl and his food bowl were both on the floor of my bathroom. Well, I came home, I went into the bathroom, and he got right up in my sink and peed. And just a couple days before, he had peed on my counter. And I found out about a couple weeks ago, like now, that when he had done that, he had peed on my earrings. And my ears are so sensitive. I actually have an ear infection right now. I practically live with ear infections. And him peeing on my earrings didn't help. So, but I hadn't realized he had done that. Because they just go in this little bag, and I just picked up this cloth bag because the pee had soaked right through it. I hadn't known that the pee had reached this bag though, and I put it in one of my bathroom drawers and cleaned everything up. Well, he pees in the sink in front of me, and I text my friend Maddie because Maddie claims up and down that this cat is partially hers, and it's one of the, like, she loves this cat. I know she does. Like, she sees him as her own, but at the same time, like, I'm the one that, like, he lives at my house. Her parents, like, are very, no, he's not yours. He cannot live here. You cannot have him. So I've always just kind of, well, I'm like, yeah, you can love him all you want. unless your parents say, yes, you can have him, I'm sorry, but he's not really your cat. But I texted her anyway, so I'm like, I'm so over this. He just peed in my sink in front of me. Well, she had been with her grandma, and her grandma, I guess she told her grandma, and her grandma went, no, he's trying to tell her something. He's trying to tell her that something's wrong. And so now I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, my cat has a UTI, a urinary tract infection, or something's wrong. So I take him to the vet. And nope, turns out he's just an absolute douche. It's just him being a jerk. So we put him on behavioral medicine. And it has actually worked wonders. And I was like, oh, this is like saving my relationship with this cat. And everything was going really well. Like, for the most part, he does fine with the pills. Every once in a while, he'll go like crazy in my bathroom at night, and I'll hear him knocking stuff over, and then I'll get up in the morning and find that he spit the pill up. But that's only happened maybe 3 or 4 times. And he's been on the pills for almost 2 months now. And so I was like, okay, relationship is hopefully saved. I think we're okay. He doesn't even bother trying to get on the bed anymore unless it's to like escape something. Like when he does not like my corgis, Zoe and Chloe, he does not like them. So if they're up here, he's in the bathroom. And I think it's just the puppy energy he doesn't like. And the only time he's jumped on my bed is to get away from them, and it's just to go up and over so he can get into my bathroom. Well, I had let him into my room. I'd gone to take a shower before bed, and I had videos that were exporting and getting ready to upload to YouTube and stuff. And I come over, and he lays in my desk chair, and I've never had a problem with that. He's never given me a reason to have a problem with that. There's a huge pee spot on my chair, and this is a cloth chair. This is my dad's old office chair, and it is cloth, and there are little stains like kind of here and there that from like where my dad had spilled something on it or whatever, and literally like right at the edge of the chair there's this huge pee spot, and he's still laying on the chair too. And that was the breaking point for me. I posted something on Facebook. I'm like, I still wasn't for sure, and I'm still not for sure, but I was like, is anybody interested in a 11-month-old cat? He's orange and white. His name is Mochi. He also responds to Momo. He has been fixed, declawed in the front. He's an absolute sweetheart. Like, he's very affectionate. He's still very friendly. But I'm like, would anybody be interested in him? Not for sure getting rid of him. Want to know, though, if there's any interest, though, in a cat like this. And I had somebody PM me and say, I'm waiting to hear back from my brother if he would like it. And I'm like, okay. I have not heard back from her. But then I had another lady message me, and she's like, I've been looking for a cat, but the last 2 cats that I've had have not worked out for my family. She has 3 kids, and she's like, my, middle child, was 3 at the time, and one of the cats they had tried had gotten up in this toddler's bed and just scratched the heck out of her. Just went bat crap. Sorry. He just went crazy, just lost his mind and scratched up this toddler, and they couldn't figure out why. So they had to take the kitten back to wherever they had gotten it from. Well, then they had another one, and it was also very scratchy, didn't get along well with their dog, and it just didn't work out. And see, they have a Great Pyrenees, and the biggest dog Mochi has ever been around was those German Shepherds, and he did not like them. So I came back, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, he's never been around a dog bigger than a German Shepherd puppy. I don't know how he'll react to your Great Pyrenees puppy, or it's a 1.5-year-old Great Pyrenees. I'm like, I don't know how he'll react to that dog. I don't know how he will react to your kids. He has never been around a kid younger than 14, which is how old my brother was when I first took Mochi in. So I'm like, I have no idea how he will react, but I'm willing to do a test run. And so, for me on Tuesday, which is the 5th, I don't remember the date that this is going up, but whenever it goes up for you, he had a test run on the 5th. We'll probably talk about how that goes in my next well, not my next speed build, because the next speed build is going to be the furnishing of this, and I'm doing that right after this, so I won't know how it goes. But in like the next house that I build, we will probably know how that went, and I will see if I'm down a cat or not. But he also, like, he doesn't clean his butt, which is kind of TMI, but he doesn't. He will not clean his butt, and he leaves like poop stains everywhere. Like if I pick him up, I have poop stains on my shirt. There's like poop residue all over my counter. I got like a bin thing to put all the stuff that he normally knocks off my bathroom counter. Like I put all this stuff in this bin I got for Christmas, and he is laid on that, and it is black, and I already knew I was going to have cat hair on it, but now I have this huge like poop stain in the middle of it, and I have no idea how to get it out because it's not washing machine safe, and I don't know how it would react to like if it's one of those things that it would like have a soap stain if I tried to use soap on it, because I've had things that'll stain from trying to scrub a stain out with soap. It stains from the soap trying to get the first stain out. So I don't know, but I need to get it clean. I need to clean his butt, but he will not clean his own butt, and I don't know what to do about it. But this should be interesting. Part of like my gut says that this is the right thing to do, and this lady seems really nice. I would hope it'd be one of those things that she'd send me pictures and videos and like updates if it works out, but I don't know how it will work because again, he's never been around little kids. He has never been around a dog as big as a Great Pyrenees, which if you know, those things are huge. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just have to see, but I'll go ahead and end this here because I'm way behind what you guys are seeing, so I just know I'm coming close to the end. We'll put on some Secret Tunnel if I need to for like the last couple seconds. And yeah, so thank you guys, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye guys.
Two lovers forbidden from one another, a war divides their people, and the mountain divides them apart.